Hello my friends, and welcome to the review of my January 2024 images for the Frugal Film Project. Now the Frugal Film Project is a worldwide group of film shooters, and the idea is very simple. You take one camera that you buy for less than $75 and you take 12 rolls of film and you shoot one roll of film each month during 2024. So my choices are the Stylus Epic and Kodak Color Plus. Now, if you'd like more info on the background to the project and also how to join, make sure you check out this other video here on my channel. So I was pretty excited to get underway for this year's Frugal Film Project. So I wasted no time loading up my Stylus Epic with a roll of Kodak Color Plus, and we had a family day trip over to Minjerribah, North Stradbroke Island. From here, where I live, it's about a 12-minute car journey, and then you drive your car onto a barge or a ferry, and it's about a 45-minute crossing to the world's second largest sand island, North Stradbroke Island, Minjerribah. So when you arrive at North Stradbroke, you arrive at the little town of Dunwich, and then you drive round to the northern or the eastern part of the island if you want to go to a nice beach. So we head around to the beautiful little hamlet of Point Lookout, which looks over these sort of cliffs and gorges and beaches on the eastern side of the island. And it was really, really hot when we got there. Extremely hot, extremely humid. We had sunscreen on. I could literally feel the sunscreen melting. It was going into my eyes and making my eyes all red. I could taste it in my mouth. It was one of those really hot, humid Queensland summer days. We walked across the road though, and look at this photo here. This is the first one. This is the classic sort of outlook from Point Lookout. This is Frenchman's Beach. And yeah, this is just a beautiful scene here. You've got these beautiful waves rolling in. You've got this beach. There's hardly anyone on the beach on this beautiful summer day. It's school holidays, but you know, you can almost have an entire beach to yourself here on North Stradbroke Island. So I love this shot. There's some pandanus palms there as well, and these beautiful rocks. Really love the colors here on Kodak Color Plus. Now turning around to the right, sort of heading straight east here, this is a scene looking out to the ocean. You've got some nice flowers there, and you've got the pandanus palm and another sort of tree there. Really like this shot, and you can sort of see what's coming in about 10 minutes time. There's some clouds rolling in, and we got absolutely soaked to the core. It was kind of funny, but this is the start of the Gorge Walk. So you sort of walk up a hill that sort of overlooks the ocean, and then you go down these steps and follow a path. Fantastic place for international visitors to come. It's a really nice thing, and you always see and hear a lot of tourists there. This is another shot here as we're walking out to the gorge lookout. You can see it's very bright because yeah, the clouds in the sky there are not quite blown out, but yeah, they're pretty bright. So that's the kind of day it was here. And now we're just at the start of the gorge lookout. There's some nice sort of paths there and some steps, and overlooking that I took this photo here. I really love the greens here of the vegetation there overlooking the ocean, and you can kind of tell that it was getting darker because yeah, that vegetation is nicely in focus here with the Stylus Epic, but the background is kind of a bit blurry. So it was obviously using, you know, I don't know, f5.6, something like that, to make sure that it got a good shot here. It wasn't shooting this at, you know, f11, f16. So yeah, the darker conditions, and yeah, we are getting a bit of depth of field there with the Stylus Epic, which is nice. From that point on, we walked out to these beautiful, huge rocks that sort of overlook the ocean. There's all signs up everywhere. You have to be very, very careful that you don't slip and fall into the ocean. You could probably die if you do that. So yeah, a little bit of being sensible is definitely encouraged. And for about 10-12 minutes, it poured and we all got completely, hopelessly wet. But then after the rain stopped, I started taking some more photos. The sun come back out, and this one here is a really nice view, just looking out here, part of the Gorge Walk here, and you got the rocks and the ocean coming in, beautiful trees on top of the hill. Really like that shot. You can see how bright it is though. It really was super bright when that sun come back out. From that shot, turning around to the right, the ocean sort of comes into this gorge here. I think this is North Gorge, and the ocean sort of roars into this gorge here. There's all sort of, you know, rock faces either side. There was actually some teenagers swimming in that gorge while we were there, having a great old time, although it's pretty dangerous. I'm not trying to be an old man, you know, but it is super dangerous. And a couple of times one of the lifeguards come around on a jet ski, and I think he was telling them to get out of there before they have an accident. The next three shots are some pretty typical North Stradbroke shots. Got these beautiful scenes overlooking the gorge here. You've got this one here, which I really like, the trees here. You've got this one here showing a bit more of the rock and those waves crashing in. and you've got ones here just of the rocks. This is another spot you can walk down some steps onto the rocks, and yeah, you've got to be very careful here as well, because there's all signs up everywhere, because yeah, people have slipped and injured themselves and killed themselves from these rocks. So yeah, you've always got to be careful. Don't get that shot just to end up at the bottom of the ocean. So we continued on and finished our gorge walk, and then we wanted to go and have a little bit of a swim because it was so hot. So my wife and my daughter, they went in under the shade. They were very sensible, under a tree, and read a book. And my son and I, we actually went to this beach here, which is Main Beach on Stradbroke Island, Minjerribah. And as you can see here, I really love this shot. This is probably my favorite shot of the roll. This one and the next shot. You just got this, you know, almost pure white beach. It's so bright, but you've got the nice colors here of the trees and the ocean. You can probably see in that first shot there, yes, you can. There's a red flag on the beach. You're not actually supposed to swim when that red flag's up. It's very dangerous. There are rips and currents that will take you out to sea. And yeah, so there's people there playing on the beach. They were getting actually out into the surf, and a couple of times the surf lifeguard come around and told them to get out. My son and I, we were about probably knee deep in the water. And even when we were knee deep, yeah, you could feel how strong the ocean was. And really, I said to my son, do not go out any further than knee deep, because we'll end up, you know, getting taken out to sea and we'll end up in New Zealand. Very similar shot here of Main Beach. You can't quite see that red flag anymore, but you see this beautiful silhouette of that. I think it's a pandanus palm tree. So I really love that, really love the ocean here. It's one of my favorite shots from this roll. The next shot is part of Main Beach. This is where my son and I went for a swim. And yeah, you can't really tell from this shot, but the current was so strong here. And yeah, we were out to about knee deep. My son was having a great old time. He was lying down in the surf, just getting hit by the waves all the time. He was having a great old time. But we only lasted about 15-20 minutes because I could literally feel my skin just burning from the sun. The sun in Queensland in summer is extremely intense, and you really can't stay out in the middle of the day very long without getting burnt. We then headed around to another beach called Cylinder, and the kids this time, they sat under the trees reading books because they didn't want to get out in the sun anymore. It was so hot. So my wife and I had a little walk on the beach, and this is Cylinder here. There's some kids there on the right hand side building like a big, you know, hole in the beach, and they're digging away. I would have loved to have taken a close up of that, but you know, like families, kids, beaches, summertime, guy with camera, doesn't really, you know, go very well. So although that would have been a cracking shot to get some, you know, the backs of kids' heads, you know, in the sand there, I decided to take one from quite a way away so you can't actually see anyone. But you can see a guy there with a surfboard, and you've got this beautiful classic Aussie scene here. The next one's a bit of a close-up of the flag there with some people on the beach. The next shot is looking up at those beach flags. Yeah, so this is a pretty classic, probably almost a cliched sort of Australian shot of those flags, but I do really like this, and I think it really looks nice here on ColorPlus. You've got that classic sort of warm look to the ColorPlus, and really nice shades there of the reds and the yellow and the blue. We grabbed an ice cream after Cylinder Beach, and then we decided to drive around to Amity, which is on the eastern side of the island. Now, Amity does have a beach, as you can see here, but it's a little bit different. It's not, the beach isn't as sandy or as nice as the beaches on the northern and the eastern side of the island. The beaches are a bit more basic here. And this is the swimming enclosure at Amity, and I really love this pink floaty there. There's a kid there with a pink floaty in the swimming enclosure. Now you might be saying, well, why is there a swimming enclosure on this beach? Sharks, my friend. Yes, this swimming enclosure is built so you don't get snapped by the local sharks. So yeah, a really cool scene there. There's actually a pier or a jetty there, and the kids like to jump out from that pier and jetty into the ocean, which is a lot of fun. At night time, you can sometimes see like dolphins or dugong there. Years ago, my daughter and I were in a tourism shoot for North Stradbroke Island, and this is us here at Amity Pier pretending to fish. Don't we look delightful? You can see here though just how bright it is. Like, I've actually had to do something I don't do very often. I've actually had to go into Lightroom here and bring down the highlights of those clouds. They're not blown out, but you could just tell how bright this place is from these clouds here. After Amity, we still had about an hour to kill, so we headed to Brown Lake. Brown Lake is near Dunwich, where the ferry goes from, and yeah, it's actually a brown lake, and that's because there's lots of trees around the lake, and it gives it a very brown looking appearance. Apparently it's very good for your, for your skin and your hair. So my daughter was in there washing her hair, and my son had a great old time playing in the lake as well. So this is a shot here, just some kids playing in the lake. Again, I didn't want to get too close or anything, but it was just a nice shot to see some people in this, deep sort of brown lake. I thought it was really cool. And the last shot here, I was just using up some film, but I do really like this shot. This is a shot of the barge heading from Dunwich back to Cleveland at the end of the day. So there you go, that was the end of our adventure to Minjerribah, North Stradbroke Island. Now looking at the roll, I can't help feel a little bit disappointed with January's results. Around half of the roll are just pictures of the gorge and the scenery of the beaches of North Stradbroke Island. And I don't think that I really captured the diverse array of scenes that I could have captured. Now we were only there for a day, it was very hot, I had people with me, so I had to make sure they all had shade and drink and food and everyone was happy. But still, I feel like I could have taken some shots of surfboards, or I could have taken some shots of some of the Aboriginal aspects of North Stradbroke Island, or I could have taken a kangaroo and koala road sign, or maybe some close-ups of some of the plant life there. I did take one shot of some leaves eaten by some insects, but it didn't really turn out. So yeah, overall, I do feel a little bit disappointed. We do have some family coming out later this year in April. So maybe I will go back to North Stradbroke, Minjerribah, and I'll shoot another half a roll over there and try and get some of those detailed shots. What did you think of my January images? I would love to know. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. See you next time.